Hello, everyone. I would like to illustrate how the same information can be conveyed using two distinct ratios. So we're going to be looking at, two distinct ratios and how, interpreting the two ratios would lead to the same, outcome in terms of our what they mean. So we're going to be looking at gearing, which is liability divided by equity, which is simply the how a business has actually raised finance. If you're comparing, how much they've raised in debt and equity. And then we also have the equity multiplier, which is our assets divided by equity. Now, looking at these two seemingly different ratios, they actually mean the same thing. And we can prove that, they mean the same thing by looking at the accounting equation. So let's look at the accounting equation, which is assets equals liability plus equity. If we look at this carefully, it tells us that, whatever you raise through debts and equity together should always equal our assets from our basic, financial accounting. So what we are going to do here to show that both ratios above are exactly the same from this equation is to divide all sides of the equation by equity. So let's divide all sides of the equation by equity. We divide all sides by equity, which leaves us with an asset divided by equity, liabilities divided by equity, and equity divided by equity. So we know automatically what happens is equity would cancel out equity, and we are left with asset divided by equity being equals liability divided by equity. So if you look above and look at the initial ratios put forward, you find that gearing, which is liability divided by equity, is exactly the same thing as our liability divided by equity on the right-hand side of the equation. And the equity multiplier, which is asset divided by equity, is exactly the same thing as what we have in this equation. So that leaves us with exactly, this particular formula. And this way, we're able to prove that equity multiplier is exactly the same thing as gearing. And once you have this, you can interpret them in exactly the same manner. I hope you found this really helpful. It's a short video to just clarify, what gearing is and what equity multiplier is all about. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.